It's TV111, Osei Kufuor. I'm back at y'all again. Today I'm coming to talk about what is justice and where does it exist. Now, everybody running around trying to find something. Not only that, but when you look at it, the word itself was not even created for you to be a part of because it wasn't created by you. It's a word that's created by a system to keep you oppressed. Justice is not good for you, because if justice was good for you, justice would already be within you. All right? Now, we're talking about two different justices. We're going to touch on all of this. It's going to be a long video. Now, where we live is in our mind. And you have to remember that your mind and your body is not connected. I said your mind and your body is not connected. Your brain is not your mind. Let's get that correct. Your brain is the physical mechanism for the information that is projected to the physical body. Your mind is where you really live. And you have many planets in your mind. You have 12 systems in the brain. You have 12 planets that you live on in your brain. And out of those 12 planets, you have one planet that you are identified with as far as your spiritual characteristics. Now, your subconscious is your satellite. This is where all your information comes from. This is where your contacts is. This is where your past life, your present, your future, all of that is rolled into one. This is where your subconscious is residing. Now, justice is in your mind. Why? Because somebody put it there. Had nobody taught you the word about justice, you wouldn't be fighting for it. Am I correct? Think about it. Do the birds fight for justice? Do you see any other animal out here fighting for justice? No. Old, foolish ass human beings, so-called human, what you call human beings, are fighting for justice. When everything that you need is in your mind. The way that you think is the way that you create the things that you need. Freedom, even if it existed for something that you need, you create your own freedom. Because for anybody to give you freedom, that means it's not yours. It's just like if I want justice and I go to the store and I purchase justice, it can break down at any time. Why? Because it was made by somebody else. It's just like when you go to the store and you buy products made in China, made in Japan. So who are you asking for justice? Are you getting it from your mind, which you can create, which is forever, which is you? Most of these things that you're looking for is already made up in your spiritual ingredients. So when we're talking about we need something, the first question we should ask is, who created that which we needed? Who created the word justice? Which jurisdiction does that lie in? Who created the word freedom? Because our ancestors never needed freedom. Our ancestors never needed justice. You know why? Because they never knew what it was. See, it's the things that we know that is oppressing us. We think that the more we know, the more smarter we are. But really, the more you know, the more dumber you become. Think about it. Ask yourself, do nature know all the stuff that you know? Do nature know everything that the universities know? Do nature have a PhD? No, it has something that surpasses a PhD, which is common sense. Your common sense was taken away from you when you were taught how to dissect things. See, our ancestors could look at something and didn't need education or knowledge to actually find out what the problem was with it. It didn't have to dissect frogs or dissect all this other stuff. It can look at it and say, okay, this is what's going on. For an example, just like my teacher, Bobby Hemmett, said, it's a lot of people that's out here who never, ever went to school for mechanics. But I guarantee you, if you was to go and buy them alcohol or drugs, they will actually figure out what's going on with their car. Not because they want them drugs, but because their determination to get those drugs actually opens up a mechanism within their subconscious, which awakens some DNA in them, which they never jogged in their memory before. See, your memory starts to open up within your psychological system because we all have a different psychology. Every black person, let me ask you a question. If the word black didn't exist, would you be trying to unite with every face that looked like yours around here? Ask that question. If the word black never existed, would you try to unite under black power? What type of power would you have then if it weren't black power? You would just have power. You wouldn't need black power. You will have independent power, which will imitate throughout your environment. For the mere fact that you know that you need your self-preservation or your self-power, that presents you to your environment as the superior being. It's just like when you go into a gang. Most people go into gangs because they are afraid. They don't go into gangs because they're real. They are afraid. People get locked up and get part of it because they're afraid. Most people run around screaming black power in gangs, RBG and all that stuff because they're afraid. They want to be a part of something. That's our problem. We want to be a part of something. We're the only people running around trying to, let me just say this. Why is the scope on so-called African Americans on television? Every time you turn the television on, it's all about how can black people get freedom. It's all about candidates trying to get your vote, black votes. Not the Chinese vote, not the Japanese vote, but the black vote. What's so special about you? That they need you, not physically. See, it's an unseen thing that they need in you that you don't even know that you have. And it's have nothing to do with being black. It don't have nothing to do with being immoral. It don't have nothing to do with justice or laws. Because laws causes chaos when it's not common sense. Let me see you walk up among a pack of lions and disrespect their cubs. They're not going to follow a law. They're going to do what nature tells them to do. They're going to use their common sense. Now today, you can't even discipline your children because you have a system that has conditioned us to tell us that we should act out of nature whenever our children start to act out of nature on their part. And that's not right. So nature looks at us and laughs at us. The birds can feel the information in your force field. Hey, birdie, birdie, birdie. They don't know that they birds. That's why they fly away. They looking at you like, what the fuck are you saying? And we think that we are over nature. Birds can pick up weather 3 days ahead of time without a meteorologist. We need a meteorologist to tell us how to tap into the weather. Nigga, you got a pineal gland. You have contacts. Contacts is not necessarily people that you see. Contacts is fragments of you that was left in past and the present and the future. And you can have, what you can do is you can tap into the fragments of yourself that exist in other places to come back and relate these messages, to relate these informations as far as what's going on in other dimensions that's coming into this dimension. Because it's things that's going on in the underworld that's coming here. And this is what the European know. They're not just killing these people out here, the ones that's not the stage ones, but they're not just killing our children for nothing. They know that the children that's coming out of these black wombs is coming. They are tapping. They have a different type of DNA. They have a different type of mind state. And you're seeing an example of it right in front of you. Believe it or not. You see, you create your environment by the way that you think. You don't live in a body. There's no body that exists. You can't leave a body because the body don't exist. You live in a mind. The mind is not inside of what you think is a body. Your mind is somewhere else, and you are that mind. This is why nobody can take nothing from you unless you allow them into your world to take it from you. Your mind don't need justice. You just need to stop giving the illusion power over its system that's telling you that you need justice. It's time to detox, not just the physical body, or what you call the physical body, but it's time to detox you, your mind, because that's where you live. When you leave this shell, this is where you go to that mind, not the brain. You're going into that mind. To get into the dynamics of dream captures. Now look, I just want to say this because I know a lot of motherfuckers have sold their soul out. And you know what? I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk to you conscious niggas in the conscious community, you so-called conscious dudes. I see you in my dream, so I know you done sold your soul. And you begging now because you looking sad. But I ain't got nothing to do with it. You make your bed, you sleep in it. You cook your food, you decide to put whatever ingredient in it, you have to take it. So I just want to let y'all know, I'm the master of the dream world. And I know when certain beings and entities, there's a difference between beings and entities. Entities vibrate on low frequency. Beings vibrate on higher frequency. This is what you call the so-called Africans. We are beings. We are extraterrestrial beings. We vibrate on higher frequency. And we can tap into the dream world, which is our reality. So I've been seeing a lot of familiar cats that's in the so-called conscious community in my dream. You just sold your soul. Now, but I'm telling you, the things that's going on in the minds of so-called black people, the minds is changing. It's going from Professor X to Magneto. You see, Professor X represented that turn your cheek and let them smack you on the other cheek. But that Magneto represent all hell break loose. And that X gene, that X-Man gene being brought online, that activation of that new strand of DNA. All right? So it's time for us to be careful, because a lot of things that we are coming into contact with as we are going through our paradigm shift is now dialing up into your pineal gland and your third eye. And you are being resurrected, so to speak. You have a resurrected energy that has never been felt, seen, heard, ever. It's coming from a new planet. They can call it Planet X. They can call it Nibiru. But it's here. And it's not coming from outside of yourself. We have portals in our brain opening up. We have a second brain that is now attaching to a second mind. And this is what you call your twin flames. Everybody has a twin flame. And we have the children of the rainbow. Yeah, I'll be doing a video on that as well. All right, the children of the rainbow, meaning that there's new colors coming in, new frequencies that a lot of people will not be able to digest in their memory or in their sight. When I say in their sight, I'm talking about in their circle, in their circumference, in their spiritual womb. You have to be able to digest certain environments. And there's certain environments that's coming from the underworld. And this is where a lot of our people who have sold their soul that I'm seeing in my dream, they are in the underworld, and the ancestors is kicking their ass. The mother is upset. And the detox is on. So with that much said, Black Science TV 111, Osei Kufuor, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, he wanna my niggas, they can't stop us. Ever since we got our hands on the ARs, the S and the fresh choppers, all of them is filled to the top with the vest poppers. We can get it on with